Today, we are here to discuss cleansers, particularly the ones that we had in our learning activity 2A and 2B, and that is hair cleansers and facial cleansers. Allow me to share screen. So when we talk about cleansers, we talk about agents that are used for cleaning our skin. So cleansing products, we know for a fact that if you go to the grocery store, majority of the things that you can look at the cosmetic section of the grocery store, majority of them are skin cleansers. A wide variety of skin cleansers. It can go from hard soaps to liquid soaps to creams and foams. And this is a testament to what we call the need of human to always cleanse, or always have a clean and well sanitized environment. And included in that particular value to cleaning is self-care. No? Part of the self-care of an individual is to always include cleaning. In fact, self-care here, if you look at this, the initial step to overall skincare would always begin with skin cleaning. So that is why there's numerous products available in the market and its primary goal is for cleansing. So why do we clean? Because we know for a fact that our body is composed of an organ that covers and protects it from environment, and that is our human skin. So exposure of the human skin to the environment definitely will affect the normal flora of the skin, the pH of the skin, and even some of its barrier properties. So the skin is selectively permeable, meaning it does not allow everything that comes in contact with it absorbs everything, or else if we absorb everything, what will happen to us? So one of the classic um, characteristic of the skin is its capacity to selectively permeate only substances that can get through it. There are several layers of the skin. We have the epidermal layer and it has different strata, and then we also have dermal layer, and all of these are engineered in a manner that it protects and provides covering to our body. So, as I have said, skin cleansing may have two purposes today, general purposes. The very first is, of course, to make our skin intact, its barrier function intact. That's why we clean it. We don't want microorganisms to cause infection, because if it does, then the barrier function of the skin becomes impaired. Now, the other thing is that we also clean the skin for aesthetic purposes. No? Common yan sa inyo, aesthetic. So, aesthetic appearance matters. No? When we present ourselves to the public, as much as possible, we present a clean us. And because of that, we use skin cleansing agents. So, the very role of our skin cleansers is to remove the dirt, the oil, the cosmetics that has been used, and the dead skin. So, in all our skincare routine, I'm sure you have a skincare routine, it always begins with skin cleansing. You cannot just directly go to nourishing your skin without skin cleansing, nor can you moisturize your skin without cleansing it first. So, the very first step is skin cleansing. So, how does skin cleansing affect our skin? So, of course, definitely cleansing is the one that is responsible for removing whatever dirt that is in on the surfaces of our skin. So it removes the sweat, the sebum, and some of the dead skin. So we know for a fact that most of the compounds are not soluble in water. So washing the skin with simple water would not be sufficient to remove the dirt. So there has to be something that is to be used so that you are removing the dirt. A good example of that is oils. If you simply make use of just water to cleanse your skin, you might not be able to remove the fatty and sebum components. That is why soaps are really used to remove the dirt. Now, skin cleansing products contain surfactants. So this is where cleaning comes in, because the surfactant is capable of emulsification. So it is a way where these surfactants, the soap that you use, are capable of emulsifying some of those water insoluble ingredients. So water soluble ingredients is just easy. It dissolves in water and you're cleansing it. But the problem is with sebums and other components present in the surface of the skin, no other dirts that are present in the skin, which are non-water soluble. And because of that, the only way to do that is to emulsify them. So you emulsify these water insoluble components, and then after emulsification, this will turn into micelles. And then these micelles now can easily be washed away in the skin. Okay? So there are times where the cleansers can penetrate deep down the layer. No, usually sa surface, superficial lang ang effect of the cleansing agents. But there are cases that it penetrates deep down the layer. And that is where the problem comes in. Because of course, we know for a fact these are chemicals, these are synthetic agents, and they can cause irritation, dryness, redness, and itching. Um, as evidenced by you, for example, you notice that when you take a bath, you use a new soap. Then later you will find out na parang your there are patches of redness on your face. Then you see a slight inflammation or dryness or itching. And these are part of what we call dermal irritations. And this happens when usually the cleansers causes um, restructuring of our skin barrier. Okay, so there are some negative effects of skin cleansers. So number one, majority of the skin cleansers may cause skin dehydration. So that is why it is also not advised to always wash your face, for example, with soap like 3 times a day, or there is frequent washing. We only wash definitely in the morning and when we before we go to bed, no, because if we keep on washing our skin and we use soap while we are washing, the soap has the tendency to cause solubilization or denaturation of lipids, no, it solubilizes lipids, thereby it affects the NMF, or the natural moisturizing factor of the skin during cleansing. So surfactants usually has that effect. No, it dehydrates and weakens the skin. Next is damaging skin protein. So because soaps contains basic components, these basic components plus proteins that are present in our skin might cause denaturation of the skin. So it denatures the protein of the skin. So sometimes surfactants may damage the skin proteins, and it is related to what we call charge density of the surfactant aggregates. So this explains why there is a well-known order in the irrational or potential effects of surfactant. So basically, this is the order. The anionic surfactant causes much denaturation compared to amphoteric surfactants and the non-ionic surfactant. So that's the order of the capacity of your soaps, no, to damage skin proteins. So skin proteins, talking about the damage, cleansing products like your anionic surfactants really are the one that causes so much damage. Yun nga na-explain ko compared to amphoteric surfactants or non-ionic surfactants. So common approaches includes increasing the size of the head of the polar group of the surfactants and using a combination of anionic surfactants with amphoteric and non-ionic. So instead of just focusing on the use of one surfactant, kasi pwede naman, if your main goal is just cleansing, you can use a single type of surfactant. Add it with a solidifying agent if you want a hard soap, or you add it with a saponifying agent, and then that's that. But the problem is you wanted to reduce the damage of skin proteins. Thereby, um, you are you are encouraged that when you create a formulation, it has to be a combination of anionic plus amphoteric and non-ionic plus anionic. Why we are doing this? Because the approach is we wanted to increase the size of the head of your polar group in your surfactants. Now, I will just close my video for a while as I am experiencing bandwidth problems. Okay, so another factor that may contribute to the damage of your skin is the pH, because generally surfactants are basic in nature. No, surfactants, soap-based cleansers are alkaline in nature. So some of them, no, while the pH of most is synthetic surfactant-based cleansers, no, Syndex is close to neutral or slightly acidic, but sometimes there is just an addition of an acidifying agent in the formulation, and it is basically that the surfactants are really alkaline. So soap-based cleansers have higher potential to irritate skin than cleansers with synthetic surfactants. So this is what usually happens, class. So there's irritation, itching, inflammatory responses. Why does this happen? Because the surfactant went deep into the dermal layer. And of course, when it goes down to the dermal layer, it increases the production of cytokines. And we know for a fact that a cascade, no, of cytokine um, bombardment will elicit release of agents, no, probably interleukins, that would modulate, not necessarily modulate, but it would allow for um, allergic responses. No, as part of that is irritation, itching, inflammatory. Because this is what usually happens to those with sensitive skin, that the surfactant can go deep into the dermal layer, and of course, in the dermal layer, it will trigger production of cytokines, and these cytokines results to releasing histamine-like responses. So if soap damages the skin barrier, they can easily get into the deep layer, causing the irritation. So resistance to microorganisms. So a number of hygiene products today would really include antimicrobial activity. No, they would say this cleanses at the same time help, no, remove germs and viruses, or helps control germs and viruses. Why? Because majority of these antimicrobial agents may contain isopropanol, chlorhexidine, ethanol, and all of these are antimicrobial ingredients. So the concern, however, is the long-term safety, because also prolonged use of chlorhexidine or date triclosan, prolonged use of these agents might lead to carcinoma kasi. So that's why today, the thing is, if they add antimicrobial agents, it is in a minimal concentration. Another reason why we do not encourage so much antimicrobial agent present, no, they are at a very controlled amount, because we don't want resistance of microorganisms to antimicrobials develop. We don't want antimicrobial resistance to develop. Okay? So there are some occupations that are really bent to really hand wash, no? Hand washing is a must, especially those in the healthcare setting. For us in pharmacy, we are encouraged, particularly in those in the manufacturing company or those in the food industry, they are there is a schedule for washing. We are doing this because we are in contact with product and we wanted to assure the safety quality of the product. But the other side to that is because of the frequent hand washing, it also causes damage to the individuals whose occupation would require frequent hand washing. So long-term changes in the skin, and then it might even lead to contact dermatitis or eczema or non-concomitant changes in the skin flora. So class, these are the classifications of cleansers. They are classified either they are based on their chemical nature or their degree of mildness. How do they clean, their cleaning principle, or the capacity to form foam, or product type and the application. So for classification of cleansers according to chemical nature and mildness, we categorize them into soaps, and then we categorize them into synthetic surfactants, which are more stronger than soaps, and solvents, the most um, strong classification of cleanser. Then we also have cleaning principle. No, there are cleansers that has a principle of simply emulsification, but there are cleansers that are chemical dissolving, and there are cleansers that can cause really physical cleansing like scrubs, no scrubs. Then foamability, of course, we have the one that really creates lather or foam, low foaming, and there are those that are non-foaming. Later, you will realize why we have non-foamers or low foaming type, because it would also boil down to sensitivity of individuals to foamers, no ingredients that creates the foam. At the same time, sometimes the mildness of the cleanser would equate or be parallel to the foaming of the cleansers. Now, the product types, of course, we have facial, bath and shower, hand, and sanitizers. And some of these cleansers are in solid form, liquid form, and semi-solid form. Okay, now let's go to the let's go to the experiment I gave you, class. So if you notice, we have a very simple formulation for our shampoo. No, this is a formulation for shampoo. And if you notice, pare-pareho ng functions meron ang shampoo and cleanser. Meaning there are ingredients that are surfactants. There should be a conditioning agent, or in the facial wash there is what we call a um moisturizing agent, no? So here naman in shampoo, there's a conditioning agent, because definitely surfactants tend to cause the hair to get frizzy and dry. So there has to be an added conditioning agent. But if you notice, we only have a very small percentage of our conditioning agent as compared to the surfactants that are present. Then here also you notice that there is a primary surfactant. Usually the primary surfactant is an anionic surfactant, and the secondary surfactants can either be non-ionic or amphoteric surfactants. And then you have the thickening agent, but I advise that we do not over abuse the use of thickeners. No, while majority would really feel that the more viscous the shampoo is, the better it is, but the tendency is actually is the more thickened the shampoo is, the more it lodges deep down the scalp. And there's a tendency that it might cause penetration deep into the head area, and sometimes this causes the flaking. Another thing is that thickeners really can add, no, majority of the thickeners can add alkalinity to the what do you call this, to our cleanser. And so we don't want that. No, too much alkali would also pose threat to the pH of our skin. So as much as possible, we maintain at 9 to 10 or even 8 is a better pH. But should it exceed 10, that is where the problem comes in. It's 11, 12, 13, 14, because 11 to 15, these are already detergent types of cleansers. Okay, then we have preservatives, then we have actives. We add an herbal oil. In our case, we added a polyherbal oil that is responsible for um, nourishing our hair strands, our hair follicle. And then the polyherbal oil that you made use also has the capacity to already provide antimicrobial agents. Now that's the thing with well, that's the thing, class, with the new formulations that we have today. Majority of our new formulations, instead of going into antimicrobials like triclosan, like chlorhexidine or alcohols that are synthetic and also quite um, toxic, or not necessarily toxic, but the long term could cause antimicrobial resistance. Today, we are using natural products, plant-based active ingredients that would provide antimicrobial activity without the issue of toxicity and without so much issue on antimicrobial resistance. So we have two polyherbals, the one that has antioxidant activity and the one that strengthens the skin, especially the um, brittleness of the hair, so it provides nourishment. Then we have polyherbal and fragrance already, because we have oils that are already fragrant in nature. So in this case, though that oil was a bit pricey, but that oil is responsible for antimicrobial activity. So common talaga, class, majority of the culprit why we have pimples in the face or pimples in the back, that is because of the drippings of the shampoo and the drippings of the conditioner that will go through your face or through your back. And some of these ingredients trigger kasi um, pimple formation. So here we added a polyherbal with antimicrobial activity and with an activity that will help also remove pimples. So dual. And then you have humectants, because definitely we wanted to retain moisture of the hair, even because diba, we are after not for a dry flaky hair but for a soft moisturized hair. So that is the formulation that we had in our experiment. So classification based on chemical nature and mildness. So yun that as I have been mentioning my classification. So the one that we had, the shampoo that you had is under a soap category. So soaps, class, are really salts of fatty acid. So yun talaga ang nature ng ating mga soaps. So salts, they are actually under the process of saponification of fatty acid. So they are salts of fatty acid. So if the alkali used contains sodium, potassium, and ammonium, meaning if the base that is used in the saponification process contains sodium, potassium, and ammonium ions, we are forming a water-soluble soaps. No? So we are forming water-soluble soaps. But if the basic component contains zinc and magnesium, then this makes an insoluble form and we call them the metallic soap. So common talaga na makita ninyo in the market really are um, potassium or sodium. No? Sodium hydroxide, yan yung ginagamit for hard soaps, while potassium hydroxide um, is used usually for making liquid soaps. Then rarely do you see zinc and magnesium hydroxides incorporated to make metallic soaps. Now, skin cleansing products, ito, contains water-soluble soap. So usually, nasa pH of 9.5 to 10 talaga ang mga soaps. Then they just add an acidifying agent to reduce it to 8, but generally 9.5 to 10. So this is the reason why soap-based cleansers can really irritate the skin. So here you look at the reaction, no, of what we call saponification process. So all salts are made up of fats and oils mixed with an alkaline solution. So again, it's fat and oil mixed with an alkaline solution. So now we have an alkaline solution that contains sodium. So definitely this is a water-soluble soap that we are making. So plus a fat. So where do we get the fat? Usually it is derived from either animal and vegetables, and fats are usually solid, 'di ba, at room temperature, but many oils are liquid at room temperature. So sometimes they use liquid oil. Dati in the past class when they make shampoo, they make regular oils like cooking oils were used in the making of shampoo in the past. Okay, but I want you to take a look at this equation. No, this is an equation that will show us that there is these fat, we call glyceryl ester. Now, this part of your glyceryl ester reacts, no, and is saponified by your sodium hydroxide. So in this equation, it's sodium hydroxide, but there are some equations that is that may make use of potassium hydroxide, and then it will yield, no, to soap, okay, and glycerol. So this one, the sodium stearate is the soap component and the glycerol. Okay, so this is an example of the saponification reaction when one creates soap. Okay, then soaps are amphiphilic, no, meaning they can both be attracted to hydrophilic group and hydrophobic groups. That's why they are soluble both in oil and in water. This explains the emulsification property of soap. So they are anionic surfactants. No, most soaps are anionic, and they are referred to as natural surfactants because they can be found in nature. There are also synthetic surfactants. They are referred to as soapless soaps, no? Nakakatawa, soapless soaps. These are amphiphilic compounds. So pag sinabi nating amphiphilic, they are attracted to amphi, meaning both ends, no? So they could be attracted to hydro, water, and lipo, fat or lipids. So the most frequently used surfactants are anionic in nature. However, if you wanted a milder form, ano yung sinabi ko, we usually do the combination of anionic with amphoteric or anionic with non-ionic type of surfactants. So when this is done, then the product is usually at 7. So it is not so much basic in nature. Then we have syndet bars. They are made using blends of synthetic surfactants. They are a different product formulation and chemistry to the traditional vegetable bases. So synthetic soap surfactants are derived from oils, fats, or even petroleum products that are processed other than the traditional saponification. Then we have solvents. So solvents are non-polar solvent base, like mineral oils. They can be potentially advantageous to dry skin, but they can be disadvantageous to oily skin pag solvent base. Because definitely we don't want to um, caused over oil production or serum production with the presence of an additional mineral oil. So skin cleansing containing alcohol can dry the skin, but for oily skin, those skin cleansers that contains alcohol are better. So it varies. That's why if you notice in the market, it says for normal skin, for dry skin, for oily skin, because there is a special ingredient or a special solvent that is added in it that is suited for that skin type. So usually for oily skin, we do away with adding an oil, less oil in the cleanser. But if it is for dry skin, that is where we incorporate oil. So these are the things that are to be checked, no, when we have discussions or when we formulate rather soaps. Okay, so classification based on cleaning principles. So there are soaps that are for chemical cleaning, meaning they can achieve through emulsifying and dissolving the dirt. No, so we use soaps that is used to emulsify and dissolve the dirt. Then we also have just emulsifying. No, emulsification. Ito yung process. Bakit? Why during COVID time we really encourage what we call hand washing because of the capacity of soap to cause emulsification. Where does it cause emulsification? to the microorganism cells or to the virus cells. It reduces interfacial tension between the oil and the water. Thereby, the oily components of the surface emulsifying or creating a micelles on the oily components surfaces of the skin with water. So the same principle is also the same principle that is used to also cause tension in the cell wall of the microorganism, creating surface tension. And the creation of that surface tension breaks the wall, disrupts the cell wall of the microorganism, the bacteria or the virus. And when it does, then the cell of the bacteria is now prone to lysis and eventually it will die. So this emulsification helps, no? And the increase of the surface tension to the cell of the microorganism. So stronger surfactants, they are the ones that are more hydrophobic. So the greater the potential skin damage from excessive removal of naturally occurring skin lipids. So because of the hydrophobic property of stronger surfactants, the tendency is there is excessive removal of the skin lipids and it will now compromise your skin barrier function. Okay? So this one is a diagram showing you the removal of the oil and dirt from the skin surface by our emulsifier. So because of this hydrophobic activity, some of the hydrophobic properties are attached to this, and then that causes the drying of the skin because you are removing lipids components. Next is dissolving the solvent-based system. So solvent-based system clean the skin by dissolving the sebum and external oil. So this is more on addressing the lipid component. Kanina is the hydrophobic components, the water components. So they are applied, then wiped off with a tissue or ball. So there are cleansers that makes use of cleaning aids like tissue balls, cotton balls, or cotton pads that are used to apply these dissolving or solvent-based system cleansers. Okay. Now we go to physical cleaning. So physical cleaning is alternative to chemical cleaning. Here there is really abrasion. As I mentioned, this is where scrubbing comes in. So usually there's direct interaction of washcloth, tissue cloth, cleansing cloth, abrasive particles, or we call the insoluble beads or microbeads that causes the removal of the dirt. So the interaction of those beads would remove the dirt, or the interaction of a washcloth will cause the removal of the dirt by physical means or mechanical means. Now we classify also cleansers according to foamability or the ability to cause or form froth, no, or foams. So here we have mga foaming surfactants. So there are most popular surfactants today. Majority, no, maganda talaga if it's already in a foam. Why? Because nandoon na ang surfactant mo and the water and the foam already creates the surface tension to remove really the dirt and sebum. So mas maganda yung foam based, no? But to a regular liquid soap or regular hard soap, honestly, the lesser the lather, the better because it does not contain so much surfactant that can dry the skin. Okay? So that could be also the thing that you have to consider. So foaming cleansers, these are products that are typically containing surfactant solutions, gels and scrubs, or oil and water emulsions with high cleaning power. So foaming products can contain the same basic ingredient. However, for face, different sensation and feel. No? Yan yun. Kasi as much as possible for face, it's highly sensitive. We don't want abrasion. In fact, you are not encouraged to use what we call microbeads, no, cleansers with microbeads daily, because we don't want to irritate the skin or to cause abrasions to the skin daily. Once a week or even twice in 2 weeks or once in 2 weeks or twice in a month is sufficient enough for scrubbing. No, we are not, you are not, we all are not encouraged to do scrubbing every day. Okay, because the skin is sensitive, especially the layers of your facial skin. So wala yung tinatawag natin na makapal ang mukha. So the skin really has to be in contact with very mild products and foaming products, no? Okay? Low foaming products, they contain lower level of foaming surfactants compared to foamers. And then they are milder to skin. So yun yung sinasabi ko na honestly, the less foam or yung mga liquid soaps and hard soaps, pag ginanon mo, tas lesser yung lather or froth or foam na na-form, the better. Then, for foamers talaga, yung mga foam na ang na-release, that's better because nakadilute na yan with sufficient amount of water, thereby reduced amount of anionic surfactants are present. So it cleanses without necessarily drying, destroying the barrier of your skin barrier function. All right? So you have low foaming agents, and then we also have non-foaming agents. So yung creams, lotions, bath oils, salts, and toners that does not really foam because the surfactants present in it are very low, no, low foaming surfactants. Okay, then you also have non-foaming surfactants. So now we proceed to the types. So some are solids, liquids, and semi-solids. So these are the examples. Then application. So we have facial cleansers. They are used to cleanse the face, of course. Then we have the bath and shower products, pwedeng bath bombs, bath oils, bath soaps, hand cleansing products. This could be bar soap or Sindet bars, and your hand sanitizers. So these are the classifications of your cleansers. Then these are some of the ingredients. So I already explained the ingredient prior to this, and then these are some of the ingredients we add. So if you notice, we did not add colorants to your facial cleanser. The fragrances, we did not use a synthetic fragrance. Instead, we use an actives that contains an antimicrobial and an actives that contains already skin conditioning activity, but also the oil is already um, fragrant, no, part na inherent to the quality of the oil is its fragrance, so that we avoid the use of synthetic fragrance. Then we made use of a preservative that is plant-based also. We did not use an astringent already. Though we did not use a pH buffer like your citric acid, this is the common alkalinizing agents or lactic acid that are placed in cleansers. We did not use them because our target is to not exceed 10. Okay? Then there are some vitamins that were added to your facial facial formulation, the one that you made. All right? So, the surfactants, ito ang pinaka-importante. We have anionic, cationic, and amphoteric. Pag sinabing anionic, very good lathering and detergent property. It will remove dirt. But again, anionic molecules, anionic surfactants might be the ones that can go deep down the layer and cause irritation and redness. So that's why they are used in combination with cationic surfactants or amphoteric surfactants. Now, cationic are positively charged from the word cationic, no? Positively charged, therefore, they are best as conditioning agents. Then amphoteric, they are the ones that are well tolerated. In fact, mga no tears formula, mga for babies, they usually employ amphoteric surfactants. That's why also, if you notice, the cleansers for babies, they don't lather so much. The irony is babies love bubbles, but it has to be that the cleansers that they use don't lather so much. So they are amphoteric surfactants. And of course, pinaka-mild is your non-ionic. Ito talaga, even this is used for babies with very sensitive skin. So the non-ionic surfactants are the most, no, the best surfactant that will provide a very mild, no, emulsifying, conditioning, and solubilizing effect. So it does not cause so much irritation to skin. The drawback is it does not lather well. So that's why we still combine them with anionic surfactants. If you rank all, anionic are the excellent foaming and cleansing power, but they are also the ones that causes the irritation. Okay? So we also add thickeners. So usually majority of the thickening agents are of cellulose derivatives, gums, and acrylic derivatives. So, and in certain cases, we use sodium chlorides also in thickeners. Okay? Skin conditioning agent. The skin conditioning agents, these are agents that are used to either moisturize the skin or has antimicrobial activity, or skin conditioning agent that adds natural moisturizing factors. So these are the things that we add. Then we have foam stabilizers. They are also generally surfactants with good foaming capacity. Examples are your cocamide diethanolamine or some of your non-ionic surfactants. We also have abrasives, the one that is used for exfoliation. Yun na yung mga sinasabi nating beads or microbeads for mechanical or physical cleaning. Then we have antibacterial agents. The antibacterial agents, there is a list that is approved antibacterial agents. So usually dati triclosan, but because of the naban na yung triclosan class. So today, they just add benzoyl peroxide for pimple, anti-pimple causing cleansers, then lactic acids to buffer the pH. Okay, then there are also adsorbents that are used in facial mask, but these we will use in the latter part of our midterms. Okay. So these are examples of cleansers, bar soaps in that bar. We have gels, scrubs, creams, toners, masks, bath oils, bath bombs, cleansing wipes. All of these are cleansers. Now, traditionally, the original cleanser is a bar soap. It usually contains sodium hydroxide plus a fat, but it's effective in removing green. It's also inexpensive, but the problem is it causes dryness, severe dryness to skin. So super fatted soaps are the ones that contains oil para it's required to create a stoichiometric reaction. So the excess oil serves as the moisturizer and emollient. It improves the mildness of the product. Okay, we also have transparent soaps. The transparent soap, they are transparent because it is dominated with glycerine. So the concentration of glycerine in this transparent soap is higher because transparent soap are made for moisturizing. Okay? All right. So these are Syndet bars. No, this is used for better skin compatibility. But due to their more gentle nature, they become more important as clean cleansers. And then synthetic detergent bars are based on an ionic surfactant plus the presence of acyl isethionate. So that's the one. Then we have cleansing gels. I will not discuss cleansing gels because we are not on the gels yet. We will be doing or making gels in midterms. Okay. So not yet for cleansing creams and lotions and toners and facial mask and wipes. I will go directly to hand cleansers. Majority of the hand cleansers contains antimicrobial agents, and these are the things that we have to check in our not yet for hand sanitizer. Ito lang ang gusto kong concern. There are ingredients causing safety concerns, and that is the parabens. So according to Cosmetic Ingredient Review, parabens are safe in cosmetic for as long as they are not used 25% up. So typically 1% of the paraben is allowable. However, there are some Like in European Union, they don't want paraben really. So as much as possible, wala talagang paraben, even 1%. Why? Because there is a study that it's linked to breast cancer, no, in an animal experiment. So it is shown that it produces estrogen-like activities and therefore it may potentiate carcinoma. So yan. Then triclosan, as made mention, ito yung uso for antibacterial, but it is no longer used because it demonstrated carcinoma effects to patients. Okay, and triclosan may also contribute to the development of antimicrobial resistance. So we avoid sodium lauryl sulfate. So ang newer version nito ngayon is sodium lauryl ethyl sulfate, no? Kasi yung SLS, that is highly irritating and it is the one that is the culprit for contact dermatitis. So I will not discuss this any further, but a notes will be provided, a copy of this will be provided to you for reading. So thank you so much for listening on cleansers, and we hope to have I hope that you have learned from the ones that we discussed. Thank you and good day.